I've noticed that the topic of sleep apnea has been coming up a lot with people. And I happen to know a whole lot about sleep apnea and a solution that is not a BiPAP or CPAP machine that may be worth looking into. Now, I am not a dentist, I'm not a doctor, so I say this like I'm a lawyer spokesperson, not a lawyer. However, I've worked with hundreds of clients, not the least of which being myself. So I just want to explain real quick what it is. It's a discussion that goes on for an hour in person with a new client, regular clients, not CMTers, or a half hour on the phone. So I'm not going to drive you crazy with that. But I'm just going to explain real quick. And if you want lots more information, you can go to my website, our practice website, and there's a whole sleep apnea page that explains a lot more and shows studies and stuff like that. So just super brief. Turns out that dentistry has a solution. So for those of you who have ever had a CPR course, when the dummy can't breathe, the instructor never said, hey, here, take this straw, jam it down his throat and blow real hard to open up the obstructed airway. Those of you who have taken it, you know that they say to open the jaw ever so slightly, or turn to the side, right? And the jaw opens, the airway opens. So CPAPs and machines like them were developed off of diving equipment. So they're an engineered machine that is now interacting with your very delicate inner tissues, and that's why they're quite uncomfortable. So even if you're using a humidifier, what they do with the humidifier, so the reason they have the humidifier is that it's so uncomfortable to have air blowing down your throat all night long that patients would complain to their sleep doctors. They got upset and frustrated, and they're like, fine, put a humidifier in it. Well, so what they're doing is putting water, if you're smart, distilled water, by the way, versus tap water or something else that can give you a respiratory problem. But what they're saying, and these are people with a lot more letters after their name than me, is that that bottle of water is the same as saliva, okay? So what I say is, okay, so if I put red food coloring in it, would that bottle of water be blood? Like, it's kind of nutty the way that dentistry and the medical world are separate. They think that water is the same as saliva. Saliva is a bodily fluid necessary to maintain your health, and especially the health of your mouth. So it's super uncomfortable. Water never replaces saliva. It makes it slightly less uncomfortable, but there's a lot of reasons why there's a 90% non-compliance rate with CPAPs. Dentistry figured out that if we can simply, ever so gently, move the jaw forward, lower jaw forward, keep it forward during the night, then the obstruction is unobstructed. So rather than increasing pressure on a water hose, you're simply unkinking the hose. Again, this is very dependent upon the provider that you're working with. I take that very seriously. Also very dependent upon the kind of device, because they tried a bunch of different types. We at our practice only deliver one style, and it's called a dorsal. I'll show it to you in a minute. So you can look that up, a dorsal style mandibular advancement device. And there's many reasons for it. I won't get into it, but I'm going to show it to you real quick, why it works and how easy it is. So it's two pieces of hard acrylic. This is the lower part. See the little fin? That's the dorsal, okay? This is the upper part. Now, I use this, okay? I use this. It's the upper part. So not unlike a traditional hard acrylic bite splint. What's important is that the hinge of these two pieces working together is your own jaw versus a hinge that's attached to the device itself. What's important is that there's a flat plane on the bottom, so it's flat so that you can grind and clench, which is what your body wants to do, a lot of reasons for that. That it's hard acrylic, so you can't break it, and so your body feels like it's hitting teeth, not soft. It can't be soft stuff. Lots of things to it. Again, don't want to drive you crazy. So I'm going to put it in. That's what I wear every night. That's the lower, and that's the upper. I can still talk. I can still drink. I can still go to the restroom if I need to. Super easy. To clean it, I just put it in some hydrogen peroxide. But what's happening is that these little dorsal things are hitting, gosh, I wish I had my videographer, but he's asleep. They're catching on that upper piece, so that as you go slack and your jaw goes slack at night, that little thing is catching so that your jaw can't go back and your airway isn't compressed, right? And this being said, most of us have an already somewhat compressed airway, just all normal people, because of the way that our jaws have formed. My theory is because we haven't been masticulating on food our whole lives, like perhaps humans were meant to do. So we've been using processed food. So our jaws as children don't develop quite strong enough. So you have like a bit of an overbite, right? Most of us have some version of that. So you're already back a little bit with your jaw, and then when you fall asleep, well, then it kind of goes limp because you're asleep, and there's where your obstruction comes from. And you add to that things like, our lungs not working. For instance, I'm to that point now. Things like our diaphragm. It just makes it so much worse. So this has saved my life the last 5 years. Doesn't solve everything, but it's pretty remarkable. Anyway, if you want to find out more, just Google it, mandibular advancement device, dorsal. The original maker was a company from Australia called Somnodent, Somnodent. Our practice website has a whole page, like I said, on sleep apnea that explains a lot more about the device, shows videos of it. Like I said, links to like NIH studies that show that this particular style works as well as a CPAP for even severe sleep apnea, because I take that really seriously working with my clients. My website is, it's our practice name. It's Smiles, SMILES, plural, the number 4, Oregon, spelled out OREGON.com. And then there's a sleep apnea page, so you can just learn a bunch of stuff. I've seen a lot of people talking about it, haven't chimed in about it yet, and it's like, why not? I happen to be kind of an expert on this from a lot of different angles. So I hope that's helpful and start some discussion, and mostly I hope that it saves some lives, because I do know what it's like, that excruciating pain of not getting enough sleep. All right, love y'all.